What's up, everyone? My name is Josh, and this is Josh Unboxed, and welcome back to the Daily Grind video series in which we talk about particular card plays, particular trends in the hobby, strategies, reaction to news and sports that can affect the card market and the card prices. And, in a way, we're just trying to find a way to help us navigate through the card hobby, through this craziness of the sports card trading card world that we're in today. And today, we're going to go football today. We're going to be talking about Deshaun Watson. And the reason why I figured this is a topic of discussion is because he's been in the news for like the past week or so about being traded from the Texans. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I thought about buying into his cards as soon as I started hearing this thing. But I really didn't do a deep dive or take a look at his card prices quite yet. And we're going to kind of do that today. And I'm going to think to myself or say to myself, I guess this is a way for me to kind of think to myself, is Deshaun Watson a good buy right now? Or am I better suited in putting my money into something else? So as always, we're going to pull up the data. I'm going to share the screen. We're going to go through Card Ladder and we're going to look at a couple of Deshaun Watson cards. We're going to look at his Prism PSA 10. We're going to look at his Prism PSA 9. We're going to look at the Optic PSA 10, Optic PSA 9, as well as the Optics Holo PSA 10 and the Optic Holo PSA 9. And we're going to look at how his current market and his current prices are trending based just off the news of a potential trade scenario. And it's crazy what I saw. I'm just like, wow, really? So let's go ahead and go to the data and let's just take a look at what we have here. So first things first, I have pulled up here the Deshaun Watson 2017 Prism PSA 10. It says silver here, but we all know if you're not familiar by now, you should all know that the silver is actually the base card in this set. So if we look at the value here, it shows current value of $890. Now, what's really surprising to me is if we look at the chart, look at this big rise right here. Just about a week ago or so, earlier in the month, you could have got this card for between $480 and $540. Even right before, like about a week ago, we probably could have got it around $560. Then we have this big jump, this big old spike from $559 to $860. Pretty crazy, man. That's pretty crazy. Look, I even pull up the recent sales and we can just take a look here. See that January 4th, we have a sale of $520. And then afterwards, it went for $860, $860, and $920. Now, looking at this, I like to look at the history of the card as well. Back when the card market was on fire, back in August when everything was at its fever pitch, this card went for as high as $990 on average in the beginning of August. We see an increase here too on 9/12 at 9/31. This was in the beginning of the season when everyone was still on the football hype. Then you see it come crashing down. And then just recently we're seeing this run up. This big spike kind of concerns me. So I'm looking at this. It went up $300 within a week. And the reason why I'm kind of cautious with it is because, we've seen run-ups like this in the past where things jumped up too high too quick, and a lot of times there ends up being a major fall off. And one card I like to use for example is the Tiger Woods, the 2001 Tiger Woods card. We saw it jump up to past $1,000, probably up to almost $1,400, and then now we see the dip. When I last checked, it was down to $700, probably $500. So I'm always worried whenever I see a card jump up this high this quick, and when I see something like this, it kind of makes me pause as to whether I should buy the card or not, because who knows, why the sudden jump? And not only was it a sudden jump, like it just happened too fast. It's not a natural growth. It's not a natural growth of it's like this one. I think this is more of a natural growth, natural curve, right? And this is more of a natural curve going down. But this to this, it's just too much. And I thought to myself, maybe this is just the PSA 10s. But no, look, PSA 9s. Current value of $237, but this is not true. This is not a true indicator anymore. When I check the auctions, which I'll show in another screen, you can see that people are already posting buy it nows for a much higher price. But here you can see the jump off as well. So right here on January 5th, you could have got the card for 163, and then now within a week, we're up to 267. Now it's not as prominent as the PSA 10 because usually PSA 10s have a higher multiplier, but you have the same trend, same increase. Now we look at this and we look at the previous highs. It went up as high as 311, as high as 335. Now I'm gonna show you the auctions that they have for this card right now, or the listings, and you'll see listings above 300 already. So you got 325 here, you got 450, you got an auction here for 249, you got another one for 600. So people are already pricing in the trade because recent history has shown me that, you know, this past month that trades spiked the value of a card. We see it with Francisco Lindor. We saw that in the beginning of when he got traded to the Mets, and then we saw it just recently with James Harden and Caris LeVert. People are getting hip to that, and with this news of Deshaun Watson, you know, possible Deshaun Watson trade, people are already pricing in the trade on their prices. Now this is just the Prism PSA 9s and 10s. Now if we look at the Optic, you see the same trend here. Look at that, quick jump. And this was from here on January 4th. You could have gotten it for 204. Now we're up to 377. With the last sold here, this is 349.99. And you can see the trend here too on the last sales. Yeah, it went from here to around sub 300. Now we're getting close to 350. And then with the PSA 9s, we see the same kind of run up as well. We went from around $70 or $80 or so, and now we're up to 110. Like I said, I always like to look at the previous peaks that we've had, and Deshaun Watson cards are reaching that peak. Here's the Holo 10. Boom, went up here, $749.99. Previous high was around $705. PSA 9s, we see here, we're past the previous peak already. 249 right here, and then we see the jump as well from 130 to 249, and you can see it here too on sales. Things are just jumping up too quickly for this card, and it makes me a little cautious. You know, I really do want to buy into a Deshaun Watson card, but seeing these cards and seeing them jump up this high this quick makes me want to pause a little bit and kind of pump the brakes and see what happens. Right? Is he going to get traded? Is he not going to get traded? What happens if he doesn't? And then what's going to happen to these card prices? They're going to start crashing down. You have to ask yourself, if he does get traded, will these card prices go up? Because obviously what I'm thinking here, everyone's already pricing their cards on the speculation, on the anticipation of him getting traded. Now, it's a very high possibility that he's going to get traded, but these cards are already priced that way. And you can't tell me, or I don't feel comfortable seeing that we've already reached the peak of his card when it was at the fever pitch in August, early September. Now, does the card have a possibility, a chance to go higher than that peak? Sure, it does. All cards have this possibility, but the fact that this run up went up too high too fast makes me want to pause the brakes. Be cautious. You know, this Deshaun Watson, as alluring as it may be, as, you know, excited as I was to kind of look into his cards and buy into it, we just saw the data right now, and these cards have already spiked. We're already on an upward trend. So if you're thinking about buying Deshaun Watson, I don't know, it really depends. Do you really believe in him? Do you believe that with this imminent trade or this possible trade scenario that his card will continue to rise? He's a hell of a talent. He's a hell of a player. But you got to ask yourself, do you believe in it? Sorry, I just wanted to kind of cut in a little bit and add this little part because I did some more thinking. And the only reason why I would possibly buy into some Deshaun Watson cards is because of the low pop. I looked at the pop reports, and the Optic cards have a low population. And because of the trade, if there's a big, huge increase in demand, then there's a possibility that these cards could spike even more. But once again, this is all speculation. The run up of these cards going up too quickly does cause me to have some concern But on the other side of it, one thing I'm thinking about is that, hey, these pops are low. You know, maybe it is a good time to buy it. These optic cards are reasonably priced still. They're not as high as guys like Mahomes or Josh Allen, whatnot. However, is there a possibility maybe we can wait a little bit? Because yes, it did jump up and it did jump up quickly. But what are his prices gonna be in the summer, June, July, when we're in the heat of the off season of football? Like, if he does get traded anytime soon, it might be best to kind of wait and let the dust settle after the trade and see if these cards start to dip a little bit. Because if they do dip, then you can kind of think of buying it during the dip and selling it right before the season starts when everybody is on high anticipation for it. So I guess that's it. I hope you guys found some value in this. Is he a buy for you guys? If you do have Deshaun Watson, are you selling or are you holding on to him just to see if his card prices will continue to rise? But, you know, like I said, I really hope, you know, you found some value in this content. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't yet, consider subscribing. I do these things every day. You know, news comes out, thoughts come in my head. I figured to myself, hey man, I want to talk about this today. That's how I run it off the cuff. You know, I don't really have many things planned in terms of what I want to talk about. Most of the time, you know, except for Sundays where I do my weekly pickups video, those are usually planned ahead of time. But, you know, whenever something catches my eye, or if there's a particular play that pops up in my head that I want to look at and do research on, I usually try to present it to you guys here on YouTube right when I think about it. My name is Josh, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.